You hit snooze and the world nearly kills you. Your phone vibrates in your hand. One line, left, now. You run. The bridge collapses where you walked yesterday. Concrete and screaming metal fall into the river. You stand on the bank, shaking, eyes burning with dust, and your heart asks the only question that matters. Who saved you? The next morning, the message comes again. Same number, same voice. One rule, one message a day. No back and forth, no explanations. Follow it, and you live. Ignore it, and you don't. You are not special. No training, no weapons, just a bag of practical things in a town full of people who trust you because you happen to be the first to listen. That first morning, you learn the rules the hard way. Short warnings, precise verbs, tiny margins for error, and a cost for every choice. East Ridge, seal tight, move animals. You smell smoke before you see it. A lightning strike sparked a wildfire on the ridge. You call your neighbor, he's stubborn, refuses to leave his workshop. You have 2 minutes to convince him or drag him. You choose words over force. You brace the door frames with wet towels, tape gaps, close vents. You herd horses into a cleared field and lead Mrs. Alvarez and her kids to the school gym, your evacuation hub. You set up a triage point, hand out N95s, teach people how to wet sheets to stop ember intrusion. Someone argues for driving out, another wants to stay. You pick. You leave 2 people behind who say they'll hold the barn. 3 hours later, the embers reach where they were. You lose the barn, but save 10 lives. The message never said who to save, it only nudged. You learn, every saving choice has consequences you will carry home at night. Don't drink, boil, bleach, fall back. The municipal taps turn brown. A chemical plant upstream suffered a failure. You taste it, metal and bleach both, or maybe something worse. People panic and queue for bottled water. You set up filtration with sand, charcoal, cloth, and solar stills on rooftops. You teach people to boil water for a minute, add 2 drops of bleach per liter if unsure. You ration. You label containers. You track consumption like a ledger. Word spreads. Looters follow the line. You hand a man a bottle and he tries to take 2. You decide to hold the line. 1 bottle per person, no exceptions. He leaves angry. Later, you hear he stole from an unlocked car and was arrested. You save the many by punishing the few. The messages are saving lives, but not everyone's morals. 114 radio, false alarm, don't go to stadium. At 1:14 p.m., the local emergency broadcast blares. Come to Central for supplies. You know it's a trap before you arrive. The crowd at the stadium is a tinderbox, people desperate, organizers overwhelmed, a group with black masks trying to redirect food convoys. You divert the trucks to the school using your own radio and the old ham you taught to use. You organize convoys in small teams instead of one mass line. You choke down fear and step into leadership you never asked for. Later, you find a discarded flyer with your initials scrawled on the back, your handwriting from a notebook you use for supply lists. You didn't write it. Your stomach drops. The messages begin to feel less like rescue and more like instructions in a manual someone like you would write. Check the server room. If you trust me, read it. There is an old municipal server room in the basement of City Hall. You break in because the message told you to. Dust, scorched paper, a soldering iron cold on a bench. A scheduled outbox full of drafts addressed to your phone number. Drafts labeled with dates years from now. A yellow sticky note in handwriting you recognize too well. If you find this, listen. It's me. It hits like a punch. The messages are from you, not some angel, not a stranger. You stare at your own handwriting and the world tilts. The past you becomes future you, and the future you has been trying to steer you. The pattern shows a timeline where your choices built a resilient town. But the notes also hint at a divergence. Words like contingency and containment, and a plan that gets harsher if unchecked. The messages were not just saving you. They were shaping who you'd become. Burn the bridge or open the gate. People will hate you either way. The next day brings a choice that tastes like iron. A convoy loaded with supplies is heading into town. The messages predict both salvation and takeover. Burn the bridge, stop the convoy. You starve your town, but keep autonomy. Open the gate, accept the supplies, and a corporate liaison who sets rules and cameras. Your people survive but lose freedoms. You design a third option, intercept the convoy at the ridge, unload supplies into community trailers, and give the liaison a conditional welcome with oversight. It almost works. Half the town applauds. The other half calls you a tyrant. You lose friends, you gain responsibility. Future use notes show this was intentional, an experiment in governance. You realize every life saved earlier enabled the formation of a council that could either protect or control. The morality of survival is messy. The cost is always human. If you want different, do different. Last message won't come if you cut it. The messages escalate. They ask you to do things you can barely stomach: quarantine a neighborhood, confiscate radios, detain someone suspected of sabotage. You follow a few, the town stabilizes. But you notice a pattern. Each compliance increases surveillance, central storage of resources, and a hardened leadership that silences dissent. One night a child asks, "Will you become him?" And you almost hear the future you answer with the voice from the server room, steely and certain. You stand before the server rack. The final instruction blinks on your screen: end it or continue. Either way, choose. You can keep receiving the messages and save lives day after day while steering your town into a fortress that may never let go. Or you can destroy the system, no more warnings, no more small daily miracles, but you return agency to a flawed, unpredictable community. You don't have an easy answer. You think of the bridge you ran from, the barn that burned, Mrs. Alvarez's laugh, the looter's face. You think of the handwriting that could be yours. You pull the plug, sparks fly, the screen goes black. Silence. For a moment you panic. Then you do what the messages never taught you. You call a meeting. You explain everything: how the warnings saved lives, how they shape power. You let people decide together. You teach them how to read the earth for smoke, how to boil and ration, how to guard supplies without guns. You set up a decentralized network, small teams, multiple caches, open books governance. It is messier, it is human, it is imperfect. The mornings after the cut are raw. You wake and check a silent phone. No single voice. Instead, you wake to the chatter of neighbors, to a radio someone restarted, to a note pinned to the board. We plan at dawn, we watch at dusk, we decide together. Lives are still at risk. You still lose people. You still make mistakes. But you carry their names differently now. The relief is not absolute. The weight is just shared. You look at the old sticky note with your handwriting and you fold it into a new page of the town ledger. You do not know if the future you is angry or relieved. You do know one thing. You chose to stop letting one voice decide who lives and who dies. You chose messy, painful democracy over cold salvation. The server is dead. The messages are silent. But every morning the town wakes anyway. And every morning your choices shape what comes next. If you had one message that could save lives but also shape the future of your town, would you keep listening or would you cut the cord? Comment below. What would you do?